Welcome to another episode of the Fearless Femme podcast with Becky Jane Stevenson, identity and confidence mentor for women. So if you do hear the sounds of water or my voice sounds a little bit more soothing and calming, you guessed it, I am currently sat in the tub. And the reason for that is because this is actually my sanctuary. This is the place where I go to think deeper about things that are occurring in my business, things that are occurring in my life, or even within myself. And it is that one place where I can be incredibly mindful and just really allow my mind to do what it needs to do in such a calming way. So there is a topic I want to talk about this evening, and I feel like it's something that isn't spoken about enough. And I have addressed it a few times on social media before because it is no secret that I have a house full of children, 5 to be exact. And a lot of people often wonder how the hell it is that I do it, whether I'm a machine, an alien, or if I'm just AI posting all over social media and I'm just exceptionally clever at strategizing AI. But I am none of those things. I am a human being first and foremost. I am a woman who is also a mother. You know, there's also sometimes the comments that crop up from other parents in the social media space that want to create the perception that they are the perfect parent, that there are these invisible rules and standards and expectations that we have to hold ourselves to, that often project onto me that I can't have it both ways, that I can't have a business and I can't raise my children either, that somewhere along the way something has to give and I'll have to sacrifice something. And if you've not already figured out by now, I am not one who will follow the rules. I'm not one who will conform to, call it a rebellious streak if you like, and being stubborn. They are 2 of my very well known personality traits, but generally I don't like being told what to do. And secondly, the way that my brain works is finding solutions, finding things that will work for me, that are outside of the box, that aren't mainstream, where we're told you can't be one or the other, otherwise you'll burn out. While it's true, the first year of my business, I actually did burn out, and that was because I was following all of the processes in business that, you're told you need to do to be successful, and I didn't give myself the chance to work my business the way that I wanted it to work for me, what I'm available for and what I'm not. So naturally I burnt out. So I learned a lot from that time. But like I said, sorry to disappoint, but I am in fact a human, and I'm kind of here to answer the question on how it is that you can do it without burning out, without feeling like your energy is being drained and like you're being pushed and pulled in different directions and trying to spin all of those plates to stop them smashing, or feeling like if you take your foot off the gas in one area then another area suffers. And I get that. Then you've got the added guilt for showing up for your business when you should be showing up for your kids. There's so much, right? And the question is, how is it managed and still I have time for myself? So that's the $1 million question, isn't it? That a lot of women who have children and want to be successful in their business and have wealth is, how do you balance the two? How do you successfully show up for your business, build your authority, build the level of success that you want, that affords you the freedom to be with your children, to do the things that you want to do with them? Because if you have children, I am sorry to say it, part of your why is going to be the freedom to spend time with them while they're a child, while they're still children, maybe to give them experiences that you didn't have, maybe to break the cycle within your past history. It doesn't matter the reasons and motivations for you to want a successful business, but the question is how do you manage it all without feeling the overwhelming guilt, without feeling the mum shame, without feeling like you have no energy? Now, what's really interesting is I'm also a manifester. So if you know human design, if you're familiar with it, a manifester, especially with a 6-3 profile, a manifester a lot of the time needs around 80% rest. So that doesn't mean not doing anything, but being in life, being a human being, we need 80%, and the 20% is creating. The 20% is putting things out there for others. And I definitely feel like that is me, and I'm starting to accept that actually that 80% resting for me is needed, because if I start pushing things and even trying to do a 50-50, my energy is depleted, my mood is much lower, I'm less motivated, I'm less fired up, unless I'm taking care of me and resting. So beyond that, without getting into the whole topic of human design, I mean, I'm no expert, you want Gunamel there for that, but how is it that I thrive in life and also keep 5 humans alive and thriving too, whilst also meeting their need? The truth is, women are so great at compartmentalising in the healthy sense. Sometimes for a lot of women, compartmentalising can be unhealthy, but in my case, it's creating a degree of separation between my business and myself. And Des the Breather talks about this as well, how an individual isn't their brand. You aren't your brand. Your life isn't your brand. It's separate to who you are, and the problem you have then is your worth and your value as you see it then becomes connected to this brand that you're building. And then when that brand isn't going the way that you want it, you're not seeing the success or the clients or the engagement or whatever other metric, you're then pitting your worth and your value against the results of your brand. So by compartmentalizing, what I mean by that is I create a separation between what I'm doing in my business versus what I'm doing in my home life, what I'm doing as a human being, how I'm showing up in the world for myself, as a mother, as a friend, outside of my business. Now, while I'm exactly the same in person as I am online, I'm one and the same, but my brand is not me, it's not my identity. So compartmentalizing means just creating those degrees of separation between everything in my life. So as a neurodivergent parent as well, I have 4 children that all have needs of varying degrees, from autism to ADHD to attachment and anxiety. So naturally, as you can understand, like navigating the schooling systems and education, doctors, EHCPs and all that stuff, form filling, I have to create a separation for that, because otherwise I'm carrying that load and that stress around, and then that's offloading into my business. So creating that separation for me in the healthy sense allows me to keep my business separate from motherhood and family life. So that's one of my secrets. Part of it is I know, and this is what I hope you take away from this episode, I know I'm the one that gets to create a sense of inner peace for myself. So we're often in search of peace amongst all the chaos in our life. There could be storms whipping up around us, the world could be ablaze, the world right now is a very dark place. There's a lot of scary things happening. But your power lies in taking control and creating a sense of inner peace for yourself. It's not going to come along and drop in your lap and somebody affords you it. You have to create it for yourself. And peace doesn't mean hiding in the bathroom to stuff down a chocolate bar so that the kids don't know, or trying to open a packet of crisps under your covers so that the kids' supersonic hearing doesn't hear you and they're asking for you to share. It's not the shopping trip, although sometimes I do enjoy the supermarket shop because I can put my headphones in and I'm not surrounded by children. So that to me is a little bit of freedom, but that's not inner peace. Creating peace for yourself is not hiding, is not snatching time as and when you can get it and being grateful for it. It's not the appointments that you have to go for where you haven't got your children. Creating inner peace is making that decision that you are worth creating peace for, is you taking back that time and creating it for yourself instead of waiting for the opportunity to have it. It's much more powerful than that. Inner peace, like I said, it comes from you creating it. It comes from you taking that decision and creating space for it and deciding what inner peace and what peacefulness looks like and feels like for you and prioritizing it. It's not about giving yourself the bare minimum. It's not about having the extra half an hour lie-in once a week, or like I said, going shopping without the kids. For me personally, it was about not subscribing to this idea that I couldn't do both, that I couldn't have a business that creates waves in a woman's world and be a mother. Because obviously we do have the age-old patriarchal belief that mothers belong at home raising children and in the kitchen. You know, what's the phrase, barefoot and pregnant. I don't subscribe to that. I once did, up until about 5 years ago, and it wasn't for me. And as much as I loved being a mother to my children, and I love motherhood, I needed more for myself. So here are some things that I want to share with you that I implement every single day that creates the space for me to be the version of myself that continually moves the needle towards what I want my life to look like and feel like. So these are the subtle changes, the subtle things that I do that continually shift things for me. So the first one is creating something that doesn't need to have a purpose. So that could be painting, it could be crafting, it could be drawing, or it could even be sitting there for half an hour and just doodling, just doing something that I want to do that doesn't need a purpose. It doesn't need to be something that needs to be framed and put on the wall. I don't need to post about it on social media. It's just that time for me to be creative, to be playful, to just create. So that's something that I love to do. Another one is communicating, which ideally should be the top for every one of us, which is communicating when you need physical peace. Okay, it's not about shoving some earbuds in or your loops or your headphones. It's about needing physical peace, physical space and quiet time, and taking up those offers when they actually do present themselves without gifts. So if somebody offers to babysit your kid, allow them if they're a safe person. If somebody offers to take your child out, let them. If your child's been invited to a party or a sleepover, let them. If your partner says, I want to take the children out, let them do this. And don't be afraid to ask for what it is that you need. Don't be afraid to ask for physical peace. Like, this is such a big part for me, is communicating with my partner that I would like an hour to myself with no one in the house. Whether I do housework in that hour, whether I sit on my backside and binge watch something, or I just sit with myself for company, doesn't matter. I'm expressing to him what my needs are. Generally, I help them get the kids ready, and they go out for an hour or two, and they give me what I need, and that's important. Another one of my strategies to create inner peace is listening to music. I love all kinds of music except like death metal, like the screamo stuff. That's not my thing. However, every other type of music I love, from cheesy pop music of the 80s right through to Hans Zimmer. It just depends what mood I have woken up in that day, what it is that's inspiring me, what it is that gets my creativity flowing, what it is that allows me to think deeply. Music is like emotion to me. So I often listen to music depending on where my mood is at. So if my mood is feeling pretty stuck and stagnant, I know that the best way to get that moving is to dance around. I might get the hula hoop out and put my headphones in. I have various creative playlists for different types of states that I'm in, different states of being. If I'm energetic and playful, it's going to be playful music. If I'm feeling powerful, sassy, provocative, confident, it's going to be things like Iggy Azalea, Taylor Swift, all those amazing artists. If
prices,
like one of the
a big offer out there, or put yourself out there more and start being seen more, it's always going to come with a fear factor, because it's something you've never done before.
Listening to music and dancing often,
this is something that I drive home with my clients within my community, is it's not the confidence that allows us to do the things that we do. Confidence is the byproduct of having courage. So if you have the the courage to face a fear, if you have the courage to move forward even though you don't have a certainty of an outcome, if you can have the courage to do that, you build the confidence. The confidence is the byproduct because you chose to be with yourself. You chose to allow fear to walk alongside you but not influence your decision. And that plays a lot into like the self-sabotage that we can get into, especially when we're growing and we're evolving, we're transforming. When we transform, we're literally stripping away the things that are going around versions of ourselves that we've been, that
to create in a piece
at the time we needed, at the time we were where we were meant to be, but we outgrow that version, and it's time for more growth. It's time to move beyond that ceiling. And with that comes a level of fear, because we don't know who we're going to be at the other side of it. So it really does require you to sit with that fear, to sit with the potential self-sabotage that crops up, to still trust in yourself,
the one that I implement is going out
but
walking,
also make space for the emotions that you're feeling, make space for the thoughts that crop up, but again, not allowing them to dictate which steps you take next. You can invite them along. These emotions and this fear aren't coming up to say, best not do that, best not rock the boat. You know, all that's really happening there is we have a fear. As our current version, we feel safe, and safety is easier. Safety is known, so there is a secondary gain to safety. When we choose to step over that line and trust and go forward without uncertainty, your brain has no evidence that it's going to work out, so it is automatically going to tell you that it's not safe and it's better to stay where you are. But how are you going to know if it's safe or not unless you take that step? How can your brain and your mind and your body learn that this new level is safe also unless you take that leap? So those are the questions I want to leave you with. Those are the things that I'd love for you to think about, and please do drop a comment. Either drop a comment or drop me a message, or reach out, let me know what came up for you when you asked yourself those questions, and I look forward to bringing you episode number 3.
But I also immerse myself in the whole process with it, which is which might be, thinking about what the colours of the vegetables are, how it feels to prepare them, knowing that I'm going to eat it and I'm going to nourish my body with it. I'm with myself in that moment instead of just seeing it as, well, it's just food. It's nourishment for me, it's honouring me, it's honouring my body, it's allowing myself to have the things that I want to have, it's not denying myself the things. And I think, there's a lot to be said for that. And it might just be food to everybody else, but I just don't take that stuff for granted. I love to cook for myself. I love to cook for my family, of course. And there's actually a topic I'll dive into on the next episode around buying from a menu that I think you'll find really such an amazing mindset shift when it comes to holding more wealth and holding more money. Another way for me to create inner peace is shutting down my laptop and my phone and taking those digital breaks when I want to instead of scheduling them in. I check in with myself every single day, and if I'm really feeling uninspired, I'm not going to force myself to write content, because then it's not coming from a place of showing up for myself, showing up for my business in the ways that I want to. It's going to feel really forced, and I don't want people to feel like I'm forcing that out. So I'll shut down my laptop, I'll turn my phone off and take those digital breaks whenever I want, and sometimes that's a couple of days at a time. Creating the flexibility in my business is absolutely vital for me to show up the way that I want to, for the way that my clients need me to show up. And one of the other things that creates inner peace is detaching outcomes from anything that I choose to launch. So I have created and launched many different things in almost 4 years, and You know, some of those, I'd say probably 40% of the things that I've created have not launched well. They have not gone well. They've not had the results that I wanted, or in air quotes, they may have flopped. Now, I don't feel shame about that. I don't feel any sort of way or worrying what people might think of me as a business and all the rest of it, because the fact is it happens to the best of the best. But by detaching the outcome from anything I do, anything that I choose to put out there isn't a reflection on me. It's not a reflection on how well that I can mentor women. It's not a reflection on how good I am at helping my clients achieve the results that they want to achieve. Inner peace is choosing to see success beyond the financial side and how many have joined an offer. Success is still showing up. Success is showing up for yourself. It's showing up for your business despite what the outcome is going to be, because you did the thing instead of talking yourself out of it. That is success. It's actually the biggest success because you're showing up for you. But most importantly, and this is a big one that I hope you'll all take away from this, is deciding what you're available for each day and what you're not by listening to your energy and listening to your body. So I'm usually, and this is the big secret on how I'm able to do it, but I'm usually with my family in the daytime and I run my business in the evening. So yes, I post on social media in the daytime when I'm inspired to, but I don't generally do business things in the daytime unless my children are at school and nursery. I run my business in the evening, so I never feel like I'm pulled in these two places. I've tried that, as I said, I tried it and I burnt out and it didn't work for me. And business really shouldn't be about hustling. It shouldn't be about sacrificing everything just to keep showing up, otherwise you're just not going to create the success. Like, get systems and strategies in place that are going to work for you, that are going to allow you to sustain the energy, to sustain the excitement that you feel, so that you don't run the risk of feeling like nothing is working and feeling like you need to go back to the drawing board and burn it all down. You know, business isn't about that. Having a business that you're passionate about requires you to decide what works for you so that you can show up as that best version. And it means that your clients and the people that are purchasing your offers are actually getting the best version of you. They benefit from that. You know, if I'm frazzled and run down and I have no energy, then I'm doing a disservice to everybody who buys into my offers, because they're not getting the best of me. They're getting what's left, and that's not fair. It's not fair to me and it's not fair to my family. So checking in with yourself every day and deciding what you're available for is the biggest service that you can do for yourself. You know, and if you do have a busy life, think about how you're creating moments of peace for yourself. It doesn't need to be hours on end. It could be 5 or 10 minutes, a quick meditation, or being with yourself, listening to your favourite song, dancing around, getting out for a walk, eating your favourite food and just savouring every bite. You know, there are lots of different ways that you can create inner peace for yourself. So have a think, how are you showing up in your business? How are you showing up for yourself? So I've just given you loads of my little inner secrets on this podcast whilst I'm in the bath. I am satisfactorily, if that's even a word, looking like a prune right now. So I am going to bid you all a good evening, and I look forward to bringing you the 4th episode.